everybody, and welcome back to the Price to Sell podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. And on today's episode, we have another incredible guest for you guys. She is super well known in the industry, over 20 years in the industry, to be specific. Joined the leadership team at Royal LePage Signature in 2011 and currently leads a team of 1,500 of the best realtors in the GTA. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Hewitt. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me, Matt. It's nice to see you.
Yeah. Nice to see you too.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming.
Anytime. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a little, little bio, but
a little formal.
But it's super formal. I just like when you get into it. So we're gonna let you get into who is Sam, everything you've done.
Awesome.
I'll get right into it.
Awesome. Okay. I think in my bio it says I think I lead a team of 1,500 of the best in the business, but I really actually do believe that. My mandate at Royal LePage Signature is to help agents build predictable, repeatable businesses that grow. Mm-hmm. So my main focus is on, developing content ideas and, a lot of business coaching and team building and team development and, sort of helping agents to, you're a good example of this, I think. When you are in the business and you're doing really, really well, sometimes you think, what else could I do? How else can I, either generate other revenue streams, or how else could I, sort of find engagement in the business, because sometimes it can get a little stale. Mm-hmm. So things like, podcast creation or team building or creating training programs or starting a speaking career. I also help a lot of people on my team with things like that.
Speaking.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could talk.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I
have a bit of a stutter.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that was a perfect example right there. But yeah, so we met recently.
We did.
Because I was on Jazz's podcast in Signature, and then you had just watched the Ryan Serhant podcast because I just posted it that day.
Yes, that was a manifesting moment for me.
And me. Mm-hmm. All the above. Mm-hmm. And now we're here. It's like, just
now we're here.
How the synchronicities.
So cool.
Right?
So cool. No accidents.
No accidents ever. So, you have a ton of value. You've trained, literally Signature is such a well-known brand. Some of the best in the business, you know what I mean? Like Simeon, awesome dude. Jazz, awesome dude. I'm sure there's so many more that I'm just not familiar with yet. Or maybe I know that Tom Story.
My friend Tom Story, yep.
Of course. So let's get right into some golden nuggets for realtors out there. Agents in 2023.
Yeah. Like obviously sales volume is nowhere near what it was last year over 2021. Money was exceptionally cheap during the pandemic as we tried to work through sort of the health crisis of what was going on. And so I think, real estate agents now are really kind of, not everybody, but a lot of people are struggling with like, what does this look like now? We've lost kind of that momentum in the market that we had when it was going to the moon and, buyers were out in full force because money was so cheap. And so I think now as a philosophy, we're sort of focused on three things for 2023 to kind of help people keep focus. The first thing really is, being committing to perseverance, because this is I think one of the toughest businesses you could ever get into. There are probably comparable businesses, financial services. You want to be a stockbroker. Those are obviously very tough as well. But as you know, being a realtor, you've got to hustle to find your leads and hustle to find your clients. And, I think it's not a necessarily direct correlation. If I make phone calls today, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get a lead today. And so I think helping people focus on this concept of perseverance is super important as the market's changed. The second thing we've talked a lot about at Signature is this, renewed focus on the fundamentals. I think when the business is, the volume's going to the moon, we lose sight of things like open houses and door knocking and calling 5 people a day and creating content. And, you're too busy kind of working in your business and just running around trying to keep up, that once you again feel that shift, you sort of have to get back to doing the activities that are going to make a difference. And so we've spent a lot of time talking about fundamentals and really what that means. And then the third focus we have for 2023 is just this concept of surrounding yourself with success. I think being a realtor, I remember the days when I was selling real estate, it can get really lonely. You're by yourself. Everyone thinks when they watch $1 Million Listing with our friend Ryan Serhant, it's like so glittery, right? Mm-hmm. You drive around, you go to these beautiful open houses, but the reality is you spend a lot of time by yourself.
Yeah.
And I think if you continue to spend all of your time by yourself, I think you can spin a little bit. And so our concept of surrounding yourself with success really means like getting around people like Matt Campoli to say, hey, you got this amazing podcast. How does that work? And getting around very smart, successful people in this business and sort of listening to what they're doing and, whether that's getting a business coach or whatever that looks like, being in part of a brokerage that's really kind of, in line with your values. I think that's really important this year as the market is a lot different from what it was last year and in 2021.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like even myself, I find myself really strapping in with the fundamentals again,
Yes.
which I had fun with, several years ago. But then, like you said, just got in the mix. Mm-hmm. We were so busy. Like everything was just happening. Just so much like turnover. Exactly.
Yes.
So there's a lot of agents out there who are in that rut, right? So for those agents in that rut, what are some things that maybe they could, or some steps they could start to take?
Yeah. I think if you're in a rut, if you're feeling kind of the grind, I think the most important thing is to put yourself in the right environment. Mm-hmm. I really think that, again, this is a super lonely business. And I think if you already feel like you're in a rut, spending more time alone, trying to just figure it out in your own head, I think is going to get difficult. So I would suggest that you reach out to someone in the industry, someone you respect, whether it's a formal mentor or otherwise. I think that's key. I think on the practical side of things from a business perspective, just reach out to your favorites, right? Everyone in our business has a database of clients, and you start with the ones you really, really like that are easy to talk to, and you build some momentum, and momentum then builds motivation to allow you to make the other calls to maybe the ones that you aren't as close to, that aren't kind of those true favorites. And I think just from having conversations, I really believe in the power of human connection. I think that can help us, all of us, whether we're in this business or not, kind of feel something beyond just work. And so I think if you're in a rut, that's what I would focus on, putting yourself in the right environment and starting to do some of those activities, talking to past clients that you really, really like, and build some of that calling muscle that maybe you've haven't been working in the last little while.
Yeah, on that end for sure. And are they, our agents, when they're calling, are they asking for business?
That's a great question. I mean, I don't have an honest answer for you. I think that it has to feel right for you. I think there's a lot of agents in the business who will use a script and, they'll chat and they'll say, hey, Matt, this is a business call and how are you? And, that feels good for them and that works for them. And by extension, that's probably what their clients are used to. A lot of other people have said to me, I could never ask for business. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And so just by making the calls and staying in touch with people, the client naturally will ask, so how's it going in the real estate business? And at that point, if you feel comfortable saying, there's no inventory out there, I'm looking for listings. If you know anyone thinking of selling, let me know because it's a great time for them. If it feels comfortable at that point, you can. But the bulk of people that I know making the calls aren't directly asking for business.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say hi. I would just say, hey, give me your house.
No opener?
No opener. No. Straight to the point.
Nothing. No. Okay. All right, good.
I'm actually in front of your house right now.
Yeah, I've got the signs going in the grass.
I'm trying to open the door. Let me inside so I can sell it. So
do the price to sell people have bail money, like in case when you get
yeah,
arrested?
we've had this discussion.
All right,
yeah.
Okay,
There's been a couple close calls,
good.
Especially in the traveling portions of things.
Yeah,
right?
I have seen on your social you're doing some Airbnb in Florida, and they're it's a little different down there, Matt. So you be careful, okay?
100%.
Okay.
So we got the whole bailout situation systems in place.
Cross system lawyers, we're all set.
Yeah, we're all set. Good backing.
Good.
We're good.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a liability.
Yeah.
So with having access and actually being able to witness the success of all these agents, out of the 1,500, there's, I'm sure, the huge pool that are killing it, top producers, and you have like the cream of the crop. So what are some of the things that the cream of the crop are doing that are like non-negotiables for them that are generating business? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So number one is contact with people in whatever form that looks like. So, whether that's a podcast, whether that's super focused social creation, whether that's making the phone calls, whether that's open housing every single weekend. I mean, I would say the correlation between super successful realtors in this business really is sphere of influence. Mm-hmm. It really is. I think I've seen it happen before. I'm not saying never, but I do think that if you're either, new to an area, new to a city, new to whatever, and you don't have kind of a base, it does take you longer to get going than if you come into this business and 100 people. I mean, I tell my team, if you're getting started, 100 people is sort of really all you need to get going. But once you get to the top, you know, you have agents doing multi-millions of dollars in commission every year. I think they really are deeply focused on connecting with people on a regular basis in whatever avenue that looks like for them.
Mm-hmm. So in the form of calling, maybe throwing events.
Yes. Events are a big one for sure. We talk a lot about events at our company. We talk about seminars, networking events, you know, small events like, you know, manicures and mimosas. We talk about, you know, big events like pictures with Santa and, you know, pumpkin patches. And I mean, one of the things we've sort of coined at Signature that a lot of the top agents have been really good with is this idea of like having a connectivity plan. And if you work for me, you're so tired of hearing me say that. But luckily you don't, so I can hawk my ware on you. Really,
connectivity plan.
Connectivity plan.
Okay,
yes.
dive into it.
Which is really just this concept of like every month you need to have one focus.
Okay.
And that focus needs to be delivered in a multitude of ways. So for example, let's say you're going to do an event in March. You're going to do what's in March? I don't know, St. Patrick's Day. Let's say you're Irish and you want to do something for St. Patrick's Day. You're going to have a leprechaun and do pictures. So you would send out the invitation to that and maybe you email it. And then maybe you do a bomb. So that's an email is one way, a bomb is the second way. And then you host the actual event. That's the third way. And so I think the top agents really know exactly what they're doing every single month to be in front of their people so that when the market returns, when unit volume returns, which it will, they already know what's going on every single month and they don't get caught spending so much time in their business that they're not spending time on their business. They're not lead genning because they're too busy servicing, because that's how you get those busy months and then those low valleys. I call it the roller coaster of real estate.
Yeah. It's a roller coaster, right?
It is.
Definitely is.
It is. High highs, low lows.
Yeah. Love that. I think that's good insight because, you know, many people have that same question. It's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get business.
And I think if you really feel, for anyone listening, if you really are kind of struggling with this concept of like, I really don't know what to do because I've heard that before, that's really when I would encourage you to question from an environment perspective if you're in the right spot. And really think about who you're surrounding yourself with. Because if anybody in my team comes to see me and they're like, I'm not really sure what I should be doing, we kind of clear that up pretty quickly and we can come up with a plan pretty quickly. But for you, I mean, I'd ask you the same question, Matt. Like, you obviously have one of the most successful podcasts, but this isn't the only way that you get in front of people. So, you know, if I said to you, what do you do to stay relevant and timely with your audience? Like, what does that look like for you?
I'm a big in-person guy.
I thought so.
I've been... If you look at my week, there's so many lunches and dinners booked. It's insane. So I make it a point just to reconnect in person, have a lunch, catch up with past clients, other agents, everything in within my life. If people reach out, hey, I want to grab lunch with you. Sure, let's do it. So I'm like a yes man. And Marina, well, my girlfriend will hate on me for this and still does, but I spend a lot of time just saying yes to things.
Oh, you do? Are you a little bit of a people pleaser?
No, I have my boundaries for sure.
Good.
I definitely have my boundaries, but so many doors open that way.
Yes. Yeah.
So between my social media, always posting some sort of content to get engagement, phone calls, texts, things like that. And then I'm taking it one step above for the team this year, and we're going to be doing a lot of prospecting.
Good.
Like traditional prospecting, farming, all the above.
Good.
Just to fill the pipeline even more.
Yep.
Right? I don't want to settle.
Good.
So that's kind of how I
That'll
do
you
it.
well.
Yeah. That's it.
Good.
Me in a nutshell.
You in a nutshell.
But and the podcast is good too. But it's more so like I just do this to bring value to people.
Yes.
I don't really expect a return.
Yeah.
On this is more just more fulfilling.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's important to do the stuff you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
And whether you don't see like a direct correlation, that's one of the things I advocate with my team is they'll come in and see me. Like I'll have some person come in to see me and they'll say, I really don't want to do events. Like that's not really my thing. And I'll say, that's fine. It doesn't have to be. It's not for everybody, but what are you going to do instead that works for you? Not everyone wants to do a podcast. Not everyone's gifted like you are at the interview. So a lot of people will say, well, I don't want to do that. That's not going to work for me. Okay, well then what will work for you? It has to be authentic to who you are. Otherwise you won't do it.
Definitely. And it takes time. I feel like people will stress out because they don't have the answer today.
Yeah.
And they see the people they're comparing, right? Comparing is the worst thing you can do.
Ugh.
and seeing all these people succeeding and crushing it, and things are just moving. The machine is trucking away, and they haven't found their passion yet or purpose yet, right? So it takes time. So if you feel stuck out there, it's fine. You're right where you need to be.
We're very philosophical today.
We are. A
lot of good conversations lately.
Let's get more philosophical.
Okay,
you spoke on. We were speaking on the phone yesterday, and you said we mentioned loneliness in the business. I know you just brought up earlier, but I feel like it's important to talk about for sure. I feel lonely a lot. I do. I'm sure a lot of agents can relate. But
100%.
Yeah, it's not. It is not all glitz and glamour. Even if you are those top producing teams out there, like we all go through the same thing. So you're not alone. I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, you're not alone. I mean, I think what you just said about the comparison game is super important. I think there's been so much power, I think, that's come from social media, but I also think there's been a little bit of a negative underbelly to the social media game, because I think it does breed comparison. And I think sometimes the comparison is what makes us feel lonely, because, you look at, a guy like you, for example, the story of how we met is that I did a spin club. We have a spin club at Signature. So I did spin club one morning, and everyone's posting their photos on Instagram. And I saw a collab between you and Jazz Takar from the REC team at Signature. And I clicked on your name and I clicked on the podcast, and I was like, oh my gosh, she has 16,000 followers. Like, I don't even think I have 2,000. Like, I'm not even anywhere close to that. And I thought, oh, I need to get more follow. I want to be more, active on social. And sometimes I think I have a pretty healthy definition of who I am. I think I've done a lot of work on myself, so I've kind of been able to battle that comparison. But some people may look at you and they may say, oh my gosh, he has all of these followers. He's so lucky. I don't have followers, so I'm not lucky, or I can't be successful because of this or because of that. And so I think the loneliness in this business is also, unfortunately, made worse sometimes because of social, and because it allows us to kind of tell a story in our heads about what we think is going on with somebody else, even though we don't really know. I didn't know a lot about you when I saw your podcast. We've gotten to know each other now, which has been great. But I mean, for all I know, you've done 3 deals last year. Like, I have no idea, right?
No, it's very true.
So I think the loneliness is such a challenge when it comes to social, because I think they go hand in hand a little bit. At least that's what I hear from my people. My people will come in and, men and women will come in and they'll shut the door and they'll say, can I talk to you for a minute? And I'm like, sure, what's wrong? And they're like, I had a guy come in yesterday, great guy, been in the business 7 years, does between $250,000 every year, very healthy business. And he came in yesterday and he sat down in front of me and he said, I don't feel like I deserve to be successful.
Oh, wow.
And it was like 9:25 in the morning, Matt. So I'm like, man, I haven't even had a second coffee. Okay.
A half hour too early.
A little bit, right? This should be 9:30 p.m. But we're going to get into it, right? We're going to talk about it. And it was just a great moment to be able to share with him. But that's the kind of situation you encounter when you feel lonely. And he's new to me. He just hasn't been at Signature that long. And so we're, again, getting to know each other. But I think this concept of loneliness is big in our business. And I think it's important we talk about it. And that's why surrounding yourself with success, I think, is so important. And why it matters so much to be around the right people.
I love that they can come and just sit down and say that to you. Yeah.
I mean, I really worked pretty hard, I think, at trying to create that kind of culture at Signature. Like, I want people to be able to come in and say, I'm struggling, or, I'm having a hard time, or I had this great thing happen to me, or I need to talk to you because I trust you. Like, we really have worked very hard at trying to build that culture.
Yeah. I mean, for a grown man to come down and say that, that is trust. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a trust thing.
Yeah. They trust me.
Yeah.
They trust me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. To everyone out there, I think you need to share a lot more,
Very much.
How you're feeling. Don't be scared. Find the people closest to you that you can trust and confide, because if you block that shit up, it's going to eat at you.
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit yesterday.
Mm-hmm. So let's continue with this topic for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch on one more thing. We spoke about it too, and I think, again, super important, and a lot of people can resonate. It's being a single mom in real estate.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Kind of what we talked about a little bit yesterday too, on that notion of balance. Mm-hmm. I got a divorce during COVID. I can't remember, there was that meme or it was like Pelotons and puppies and something else was like rampant during COVID. And I was like, yes, so we're babies and divorces. So I got a divorce during COVID, which was like a super painful experience.
Yeah.
And, you know, something you work through for sure. But for me, being a single mom with my kids in this business is, you know, interesting because I think there's a lot of ways that you can take your business being, you know, a realtor. You have flexibility. And you have the ability to build something that's authentic to you, which I think is pretty cool. But I think as a single parent, you're always kind of worried about, are you doing enough? Are you doing a good enough job? Are your kids okay? Like, I feel like it's a constant thought process that I'm not sure parents that are married may have. I don't know. I can't remember. But for me, that's one of the things that I think about a lot. And this business really gives me the opportunity to build something that is kind of mine outside of just being a mom and trying to run around and raise kids and do everything else. And for you and I know I asked you that question. I said, tell me about what it was like when you were growing up as a single mom. Did you feel like you didn't get the same opportunities because your mom was on her own?
There's definitely a piece of me where a comparison, me as a kid. Just like, oh, I wish I had the family. I wish I had like the brothers and sisters. I wish I had the...
Are you an only child?
Yeah, I'm an only child.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So it's a whole thing. I paradigm I had as a kid in my own head, and like that led to like a confidence thing. Like people see me now, and who knew me then, completely different.
Yes.
Right.
And so, what did that look like? How did that path kind of?
Oh, I was really shy.
Yeah.
I played a lot of sports, but I didn't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I found the other shy kid on the team and speak to him, and we'd just be shy together and not maybe say like one word together.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 words in the whole year. And then I was like always a skinny, scrawny kid. No self-confidence at all, no self-worth. And then grew up in a basement apartment with my mother. And I just never understood the financials. So I was always comparing to like, wow, we live in Vaughan. All my friends have houses. Why are we in a basement? So I was like embarrassed to take my garbage out because if someone saw me coming out the side of the house, it was like, oh, this guy lives in a basement. You know, haha. All these things in my head.
Kids are terrible.
All these things in my head that I just like, they weren't even a thing. It was just my own thought processes and beliefs and limiting beliefs. And I had to break through all that. And then I ended up using my entire childhood and setup as fuel to like, that's my why. I want to buy my mom that house in the future. I want to buy my dad his dream car, you know, things like that. So yeah, I use it all as fuel now, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That takes a very big person to do that. So congratulations on doing the work.
Yeah, thank you.
It does.
Yeah.
That was sort of part of the conversation I had yesterday when this agent said, like, I just don't feel worthy. I don't feel like I deserve to make what I'm making. I mean, you can't really, I'm not a mental health expert. I'm not a therapist. You can't really dissect that in, you know, a 20-minute kind of cup of coffee. But I think, again, you know, when we talk about this concept of surrounding yourself with success, you're the kind of person, by having this platform, you're really able to share that. And anyone listening that maybe is also struggling with some of these limiting beliefs and some of this feeling of worthiness can listen to you and say, wow, like he's overcome all of these things, not by accident and not because it's easy, but because he wanted it and he persevered and he found meaning in it. And I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Now I'm the complete opposite. Now I'm a delusional optimist. I just believe everything's going to happen.
That's good.
I don't know how, but it will.
You create your reality.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's all going to work out.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So what does the future look like for Matt?
$2 billion in sales a year.
Wow.
Right. You're going to laugh. Everything Ryan Serhan's done is what Matt wants to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you know, the guy's awesome. But yeah,
he
just
is
like
awesome. He's so awesome.
Just a big, largely financially free life. A lot of passive income coming in, some nomadic lifestyle mixed in there.
Yep.
Being able to give back and helping others. Just being at a position where money's not a thing anymore, and I just want to give back. That's like ultimately where I want to be.
Awesome.
So, however I get there, I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Yeah. Well,
still on that path. Still running up those hills, but that's what's gonna happen. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
But
buying
yeah.
your mom that house.
Sorry?
Buying your mom that house.
Yeah, buying my mom the house 100%. She doesn't know yet. She won't even know. We're
Just
gonna be in
does
the
she
showing.
watch the podcast?
No, but she's my biggest supporter. She's just doesn't know how to use a Spotify app. But
Let's teach her.
we will.
Okay.
But it's going to be like a showing where she thinks I'm looking for me, and then it's going to be hers.
I love that you already know
work.
what it's going to look like.
I have it all visualized out,
Oh,
the whole
Matt.
thing.
You're such a great human.
But yeah, thank you. Enough of me. Back to you. So let's leave off with, I always ask everyone, and you have the 20 years experience, quick little tidbit on your thoughts on where the market's headed for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to probably bump along where we are a little bit. I mean, there's obviously, we've had some interesting challenges over the last few months, of course, with rates going up as fast as they did and people largely putting a pause on their decisions. I think we're seeing a return activity into the market. I think, with prices stabilizing since July, buyers are realizing it's okay to get back into it. But now we have the opposite problem where there's no inventory and there's multiple offers on every single property. So I think we're going to largely see the same. I think it's going to be, pretty low transaction volume until consumers really feel like it's safe to make a decision. And hopefully we get some more listings over the next, kind of more traditional spring market after March break is over. But I think from a pricing perspective, I think we're just going to kind of bubble along. If you look at some of the charting, we do a ton of charts at Signature. If you look at some of the charting, if you look at after 17, where it sort of, if you're listening, you can't see my hands, but it went way down like this, and then it kind of came up, and it sort of just bubbles along a little bit up and this way. I think we're going to see the same thing.
Yeah.
I think you're just going to see prices bubble along a little bit, maybe start to gain a little bit of traction in the back half of the year. But of course, a lot of that is going to be contributed by the BOC and what they do for the rest of this year and how the economy does. So I think all in all, bet on real estate. Like, you can't
100%.
go wrong. Over the long term, it's going to go up every year. And as long as you don't have to sell, you're safe.
Yeah. I want to take every guest I've had, the last little bit, because it's all the same. It's all the same answer. The best.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, like the brightest minds in
Sorry.
the industry.
Do you want me to give you a different?
No. It's awesome. But it's like, and then like take that montage, and it's like, here it is.
Yes.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Here's the sauce.
Here it is.
Here's the sauce.
Yeah.
So for all your new fans out there, if they want to reach out to you, get in touch, where can they find you?
Yes. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is at Sam_Hewitt with 1T_. And in my bio is my booking link. So if you want to hop on a call, you want to talk about your business, I'm definitely not a pushy salesperson, but if you want to chat about, how I think you can help build yourself a predictable, repeatable, growing business, or if you want to talk about working at Royal LePage Signature and why I think we're the best, feel free to pop onto my booking link, book yourself a little call. And you can find me on Facebook. I'm at Sam Hewitt as well there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been awesome.
It's been
Told you
awesome.
these things fly by.
Fly, yeah.
Right?
Fly.
Super quick.
Fly by.
But to the family out there, thank you again for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Please leave us a 5-star review, nothing less, or I'll find you. And please tell your friends, family, kids, dolphins, all the above. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.